Hey guys, this is Tactics, and today I'm going to be coming to you with a little Tank Superiority review. Now, I'm only going to be showing you this on one map, and I'm going to pretty much give you about the full gameplay. So this is just a standard 200% ticket Tank Superiority that you can find as a dice server. And how it sets up, with 200% it's 200 tickets, and that happens for all 4 maps that you get with the DLC. Now, here on Armored Shield, I find this to be the best map. It's the smallest, and so for consoles that works the best. For PC, of course, the big maps may be their favorites. But to start with, on consoles, you get 5 vehicles per side. You get 4 tank destroyers, which are the new vehicles that were implemented with the new DLC. And those would be on the Russian side, the Sprut SD, and on the US side, the M1128. The 5th vehicle that you get would be the M1 Abrams and the T90. So you start off with 5 vehicles per each side, and there's a flag, one flag, that sits right in the middle of the map. Now, usually, for this map especially, you have Armored Shield, you have Bandar Desert, and Death Valley, which is the night map. On those 3 maps, the flag sits right in the middle of the map, in between the 2 sides. So you have to, pretty much, it's a race to get to the flag, or you can try to sneak around and destroy them and then take the flag. But either way, there's one flag in between both sides, the Russian and the US side. But on Alborz Mountain, you actually spawn on the other side of each other of a mountain. So there's a mountain peak, and then on both sides of those are the Russian and the US side, and you have to sprint down the mountain to get to a flag that's sitting on the frozen lake. So that's the only exception to that. But for Tank Superiority, I like the gameplay. Even though some of the maps are big, and there's only 12 people per side on console, I find it to be very fun. I like tank gameplay to begin with, and the new tank destroyers I find to be very fun. They're much faster than the normal tanks, the main battle tanks, and since they are a new vehicle, you have to unlock the new perks. Now, as you can see here, I'm using a tow launcher, which is what you would normally expect for the LAVs, but you get that just by completing certain challenges. You get the different attachments, loadouts for the tanks by just doing the challenges. So when you get these tank destroyers, look on Battlelog and you can find out what challenges you need to do to get the attachments or unlocks that you want for the vehicle. I still need to get reactive armor. I think that's actually just a point 1. But to get the tow launcher, I think what I did was destroy one of these tanks, the tank destroyers, with a chopper, and I unlocked the tow right away. But as I was saying, I like the tank destroyers. They're very fun, they're very fast, but you have to remember, they have less armor. And one of the biggest changes that everyone needs to bear in mind with these vehicles, once you go into Tank Superiority especially, is that the tanks can no longer do consecutive shots between their first and their secondary weapons, meaning that back in the day, you used to be able to do, say, a guided rocket shot or a guided shell shot, and then switch and shoot your main shot. You can't do that anymore. Just like people used to do the main shot from the main battle tank and then do a canister shell, you have to actually wait a little bit. But it's really not that big of an adjustment, especially for this mode. But remember, like I said, you get 5 vehicles per side. Now here's something that everyone needs to keep in mind. You have the choice to go ahead and jump in someone's vehicle in the beginning when they're going by you, or you can wait for the next vehicle. As soon as one of the 5 vehicles is destroyed, it instantly respawns at the base. So people who are waiting there are going to be able to get there before you can respawn to try to get in a vehicle. Now, the second big note you need to remember for this game mode is that if you have someone in your squad and they're in a vehicle by themselves, say in a tank destroyer or main battle tank, you cannot spawn in them with them once they're on the field. So you basically have the choice to jump in with them at the very beginning of your side, RU or US side, or you're going to have to wait for another vehicle. There is no jumping in your friend's vehicle once he's out in the field. I don't really like that. I wish that you could spawn on your friend, teammate, whatever it may be, and help them out, whether it be just rep for them or just to help out with destroying tanks. But you have a choice. If you want to spawn near the flags, you have to pretty much be a recon and put some spawn beacons down. Some people do that, and a lot of the things that you're going to notice in this is that people will sit outside their tanks. They won't be in the tanks. They'll be around the flags, and they'll all have javelins. So I suggest one of the first things you do for your loadouts is make sure you put IR smoke on. So I just run, for me right now, I don't have everything unlocked for the tank destroyers, but I run just the regular shell, IR smoke, and so autoloader, IR smoke, and the tow launcher. Now when I get reactive armor, I'm definitely going to utilize it for the tank, so I can make sure that I angle my tank properly to survive longer. But for the most part, autoloader works great for right now, because I'd rather be able to shoot fast, and in this game mode it's very important. Now, The strategy that you're going to see a lot in Tank Superiority is the first push for that flag is extremely important, because once you have the flag, it's much easier to defend than it definitely is to go ahead and try to attack. And this is especially the case for maps like Albor's Mountains, since the flag is down on the frozen lake. You can pretty much sit on the back of that lake, go back and forth, and just guard it very easily. It makes it very hard for them to shoot you, especially if you're running IR smoke. Even it doesn't matter if they are running squads of javelin or if their tanks are using guided shell. And that's another thing I suggest. Do not really use guided shell. Most people are smart enough these days to run IR smoke. It's basically a worthless perk. That's why I definitely stick with tow launcher. I already had guided shell unlocked, I think, at this point, but I don't like to use it on these. The tank destroyers, it's good to have the tow launcher. I used to like it where you used to be able to shoot your tow launcher and then switch back and shoot your main cannon at the same time like you could with the LAVs. So now, if you're going to use the tow launcher, make sure they're either far away, they don't really notice you, or you use it as a sneak attack. Try to get behind the enemy, use the tow launcher first so they don't really know where you're coming from, and then hit them with your main cannon. Like I said though, you have a couple strategies you can do. You can either try to sit right there and fight on the flag for the majority of the tank, whatever map you're on, or like I like to do in the beginning, is I try to flank around the backside of the, I try to flank on the backside behind their tanks, take them out, and then try to take the flag or neutralize it, depending on what the situation is. But I'd rather be sneaky, because you don't have people sit in your tanks very often to rep you. This game mode feels almost like a lone wolf gameplay, just because because they don't allow teammates to spawn on you. So if you don't have someone coming with you out from the beginning, you better be ready to try to rep your own tank when necessary. That's one of the things I really don't like. But for the game mode, I like it a lot. There's definitely some improvements that they can do. As you can see in this portion, I'm just waiting for a vehicle to spawn. I can't spawn out in the field, so I really don't have a choice. So once you notice that someone dies, be ready to look for that vehicle, because a lot of the times you're going to be racing your teammates to try to get to that vehicle. So that's basically my breakdown for now. I really don't have much more to say, but I will say though that once you have the flag neutralized and you have it, sit a little bit back or sit to the sides and let their tanks try to come in. It's the easiest way to take them out. It's pretty much like a fish in a barrel. They can't really do too much, and the tickets go very fast. 200%, 200 tickets on this game mode, even though it was up for console, went pretty fast. I would say the average gameplays were about 10 to 12 minutes, around that. I think this was about a 14-minute gameplay. But I think that's about it for now. I really don't have much more to say. If you guys have any more questions, or if you have any requests for what you'd like to see me do next, then please let me know. I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the rest of the gameplay and have a good rest of the day.
I've got eyes on an enemy tank. It's on the move in you. vehicle's a fucking bag of shit, I need some fucking help here, please. Over there.